In a cave in South Africa, we found a piece of a skull. It belonged to a child who lived somewhere around 1.5 million years ago, and punched into the top of it are two neat round holes. For years, people wondered what could make a wound like that. Two punctures, a fixed distance apart. Then, someone laid the skull next to the lower jaw of a leopard found in the same cave. The fangs fit the holes. Exactly. That child was picked up by the head, carried most likely up into a tree, the way a leopard still hides a kill today, and eaten. We like to tell the story of prehistory as humans the hunters, spears, mammoths, the top of the food chain. But for most of the time our ancestors existed, that story is a flattering lie. We weren't the hunters. We were the meat. So here's what this video is actually about. Why are humans, almost all of us in every culture on Earth, afraid of the dark? Where does that come from? Because it isn't childish, and it isn't a flaw. It's a memory. And I'm going to show you exactly what it's remembering. Start with a brutal fact about your own body. You are a daytime animal, and you are badly equipped for the night. Your eyes are hopeless in the dark. You have no reflective layer behind them, the thing that makes a cat's eyes flash in headlights and lets it see when you can't. Your hearing is average. Your sense of smell is a joke. Once the sun goes down, your best sense, sight, quietly switches off, and you become slow, clumsy, and blind. Now think about who you shared the night with. Leopards, lions, hyenas, all of them built for exactly the moment you're useless. Reflective eyes, silent feet, ears and noses that turn total darkness into a detailed map. So every night, for a couple of million years, the deal was simple. The sun went down, and the world handed itself over to things that could see you, hear you, and smell you, while you sat there unable to do any of the three. And it wasn't just the big cats. One of the most famous fossils we have, a small ancestor called the Tong child, was almost certainly killed by an eagle, talon marks still in the eye sockets. From above and below, something wanted to eat you. That is the world your fear was born in. So of course you're afraid of the dark. Every ancestor who wasn't afraid of the dark walked confidently into it and didn't come back to have children. You are descended exclusively from the nervous ones. This is why the fear feels the way it does. It's not a thought, it's a body. That prickle on the back of your neck in a dark room, the absolute certainty that something is behind you, even when you know there's nothing. The way you walk a little faster up a dark staircase as a grown adult with bills. That isn't weakness. That's a 2 million-year-old alarm system doing its one job. Assume the worst right now, because the one time you're right, it saves your life. A false alarm costs you a jumpy walk down the hall. A missed alarm costs you everything. Evolution will take 1,000 false alarms over one fatal mistake, every single time. So your brain is tuned permanently to turn shadows into predators. It would rather scare you 100 times for nothing than let the one real leopard through. Hold on to that idea. The dark was pure, constant threat. Because now I get to tell you how humans fought back. And it's the most important thing our species ever did. Somewhere around 1 million years ago, we have burnt bone and ash in a South African cave called Wonderwork to roughly mark the spot. Humans did something no animal had ever done. We captured fire, and we learned to keep it. Now, think about what a fire actually is to a small, blind, soft creature at night. It's a wall of light in a world that had belonged completely to the dark. Predators that hunt by stealth suddenly can't get close. The firelight strips away their one advantage. For the first time, the night has an edge, and you are standing on the safe side of it. Fire didn't just warm them. It bought them the one thing they had never had after sunset: safety. A circle of it, a few meters wide, holding back 2 million years of terror. The single most important home security upgrade in human history, and it was a campfire. And once the predators were pushed back, something completely unexpected happened in that circle of light. Because now, for the first time, there were hours in the day that weren't about survival. Hours where you were safe and awake and had nothing to do but sit with each other. We actually have a window into what those hours became. An anthropologist named Polly Weissner spent decades with the Jew/Hawanzi people of the Kalahari, and she did something clever. She recorded what people talked about in the day and what they talked about at night around the fire. The daytime talk was practical: complaints, plans, who did what, who owes what, basically gossip and logistics. But the firelight talk was a different thing entirely. At night, by the flames, people told stories. They talked about people who weren't there, places they'd never go, spirits, the dead, the shape of the world. The imagination only came out after dark. Think about what that means. The daytime is where you survive, but the firelight is where you become human, where myth and religion and history and the whole idea of a shared story got their start. Weissner put it perfectly. Stories, told around the fire, were the original social media. So the fear of the dark drove us to the fire. And the fire, once it made us safe, gave us the one thing the daylight never could: time to dream out loud, together. The thing we ran from in terror is the thing that built everything warm about us. We are, quite literally, a species that was forged in the small circle of light we made to keep the night away. So, why were ancient humans so afraid of the dark? Because the dark was true. For 2 million years it came with teeth and claws and eyes that could see the ones that couldn't. That fear isn't a childhood phase you failed to grow out of. It's the most honest inheritance you have. A survival alarm, tested to destruction, handed down from every ancestor who was smart enough to be scared. But look what we did with it. We didn't just cower. We stole a piece of the sun, drew a circle on the ground, and dared the night to cross it. And inside that circle, we invented stories and gods and each other. Every light you leave on, every child who wants the hall lamp on to sleep, every campfire anyone has ever leaned toward while the trees went black behind them. That's not nothing. That's the oldest reflex you own, still running, still keeping the leopard just outside the light. The dark hasn't changed. The animal hasn't changed. You just have a switch on the wall now instead of a flame in your hand. Same fear, same fire, same animal, better lighting. And that fire didn't only keep us safe and keep us talking. It changed what we ate, how we slept, even how our faces and guts are shaped. But that, how fire quietly rebuilt the human body, that gets its own video. Coming soon. Hit the like and subscribe button.